clear, loud voice because you talk so softly.
I feel like I'm talking extremely loud. Hello? Huh? Yeah. Alright, well, you're paying. Alright, love you. Alright, bye. Okay. Okay, love you, bye. Okay. Bye. Gosh. Hello. Okay. How much time did that take?
Not much.
This is the story I wrote. It's allegory. That's what it is.
Is this called?
The cat wants in. I guess any great story begins with once upon a time. Well, newsflash, this is not a fairy princess story with magical dragons or godmother. Here I am, Partridge P, but my friends call me P for short. Well, if I had any friends, I would have them call me P. Besides that, I grew up with my mother, Freesia. She is the most beautiful mom I know, and I know most daughters say that about their mothers, but she is really beautiful. Also, in my lovely little family, I have 2 younger brothers. My youngest brother, Aster, is simple and fair and always follows mother's directions. My younger brother, although if you saw him, you'd say, just like everybody else does, "Hey, P," if anyone really called me P. That's your younger brother? He is so tall and handsome. Yeah, his name is Liatris, and he is only a 1.5 years younger than me. But since everyone always talks about him, I'm not going to give him the time of day. Anyways, we live in a small patch of rich soil only a hop away from a little pond. I've always dreamed of growing up and living by the beautiful pond. There are only a few problems. Let me list them for you. I don't have any friends. By that I mean any cool friends that would introduce me to a wonderful boy who would send me a bee to carry me away to live with him at the pond. But hey, a girl can dream, right? Right? But okay, back to the list. I'm not exactly the most beautiful flower on the bush, if you can catch my drift, which I hope is not too strong because I'm downwind from Liatris and he's budding. And last but not least, number 3. My mom keeps saying Partridge. I hate it when she calls me Partridge. I've tried to get her to call me Pete, but it's just not sticking. You need to find a boy close to home. Quit dreaming of the pond. Stay here at home with me and your brothers. I know what you're thinking. Everything's supplied for me, my family around, and the safety of the home I've always known. I would be crazy to leave. But I'm an adventurer. I have big dreams, and someday my roots will grow and be big enough to stretch out of the shade of this old oak tree, and the sun will hit me, and all the wonderful boys will send their bees to get me, and I will live happily ever after. Or so I think. The dilemma of the tree always gets me. It's so huge. It stretches over all our lovely soil, keeping us safe from too much sun, and make sure that the big drops of water only hit the ground. As any flower who knows anything knows that the big drops are damaging to your silky petals. The lack of sun has made me pale yellow. Unlike my cousins who live by the pond, their yellow is so intense that the sun glistens off their petals and they stick out among the blues, purples, and pinks of the other flower petals. I wish I was bright yellow. But this tree is so overbearing. Sometimes, when everyone is asleep, I talk to the tree and I'll say, "Tree, I'm so sick of you and your huge branches that stretch over my whole life." Then I feel bad for being mean to the tree. So I'll whisper, "But thanks for all you do." And I'll close my eyes and go to sleep. Going to school is a hassle. I go to the botanistic school of botany. Kind of redundant, isn't it? Well, anyways, I go to school to soak up all the knowledge I can. Because if that wonderful boy doesn't send his bee, then I have to be able to fend for myself and afford my own plot of soil with a lovely little tree like our tree at home. On the other hand, I know Freesia, I think I'm going to call her that until she calls me P, would want me to stay at home with her. At school, I get the chance to see all the beautiful flowers who live by the pond. Most of them are vibrant and downright annoying, but there's this one guy. I don't want to jinx it, but I really like him, and I'm waiting for him to send his bee to me. We have been very good friends since I started the botanistic school of botany. Still redundant. His name is, drumroll please, Delphinium. I know it's long, but I call him D for short. That is kind of around the time I wanted to start being called P. His stuck, mine didn't. He doesn't care that I am pale or tall from lack of sun and genetics. He likes what I have to say and the flower I am. The only problem is he lives by the pond and I do not. And he always says distance is not a big deal, but I can tell that's the only reason his bee hasn't visited me yet. The more time I spent with Dee, the closer we became, and soon I started to hear talk around the hallways that Delphinium was about to send his bee to one of the lucky flowers. When I went home that night, I talked to the tree. I didn't know who else to talk to. Joe. That's why I started to call the old tree. I don't know what to do. Dee is sending a bee to the girl that means the most to him. The girl that he wants to spend the rest of his life with. No response came from the old tree, so I continued on. I'm happy because I think it will be me who he's sending the bee to. I sighed. But I also am sad because I don't know how Mom will take it. Once again, no response came from the old tree. Please, I begged the old tree, tell me how to fix all this. Out of nowhere, I heard a familiar voice. Sweetheart, I stopped sobbing to listen. I want you to be happy. Go with Delphinium. He's a good boy and will become a great man. I turned to see my mother standing there in all her beautiful glory. I started weeping again, and my mother grabbed me and held me tight in her tender limbs until I fell asleep. When I awoke, to my surprise, I was on my own soil, and a ray of sun was glistening on my petals. I could feel the intense yellow starting to come through my petals. I saw something coming over the grass in the direction from the pond. It seemed that every second it was getting closer and closer. Alas, it reached so close to my soil, I could see it clearly. It was a bee. I'll tell you what, I almost uprooted myself. The bee landed on my pollen bucket and whispered to me, I'm Delphinium's bee. He has sent me for you, and is expecting you to come to him at once and start your lives together. I was so happy that I started to weep. Let me fast forward and save you all the nonsense that long stories always have. I said goodbye to my family and went to go live with Delphinium. We had a beautiful plot of land with a beautiful tree that shaded us but did not block the sun. Needless to say, we all had a healthy glow. Just like the rest, just like every great story ends, we live happily ever after. And we did. Forever and ever. The end.
About him. A little Aster.
He's a
Part 2, the Asters come back.
all about Aster.
Yeah, all about Aster. Next year.
Well,
Not the tall, handsome brother.
hiatus.
Aster.
Aster.
I'm Aster.
Wow.
Did you realize everybody did think I'm cute?
That's why I said simple and fair.
That's bonus.
Have you ever seen an Aster? It's so pretty. It is. They're beautiful flowers. That's why I picked it for you.
I like
Aster.
Aster.
Because they're so cute. You know what Laetus is? It's that tall blue. It's really, really tall. It's almost 20 feet tall.
I think it's funny because, like, wait, that's you.
That's Isaac. And it's blue and it's got like all these like blue flowers. It kind of looks like your iris.
Oh.
Iris.
Mm-hmm.
Iris.
And a partridge pea is not pretty. They are not pretty flowers. Like they're pretty and they're yellow, but the middle is like a bristle. Like the pollen bucket is a bristle. Yeah. And the freesia is the most beautiful flower. It's like purple.
So what did the oak tree represent?
Your overbearingness.
I kind of thought that.
I think you should make Dad the oak tree because he's the most overbearingest.
But the soil was like your rich love and your careness, you see what I'm saying? And you protected us from the big raindrops, but we kind of needed that sun, but you didn't let us have it. You know what I'm saying? I think that represents something.
Everything you need.
Except for the shine. We need shine. We're getting pasty. Hello?
Let's see.
Isaac got the shine because he's so damn tall.
Yeah.
20 feet. He could play with the leaves.